Question 1. General insurance concepts. Which of the following best describes the principle of indemnity in homeowners insurance? A. It allows the insured to profit from a covered loss. B. It ensures that the insured receives compensation only to the extent of the actual loss. C. It guarantees that the insurance company will replace the property regardless of value. D. It ensures that the insured receives full replacement cost regardless of the type of policy. Answer: B. It ensures that the insured receives compensation only to the extent of the actual loss. Explanation: the indemnity principle in insurance is designed to prevent the insured from profiting from a loss. It ensures that compensation will only cover the amount of the actual loss, restoring the insured to the financial position they were in before the loss occurred, without gaining additional profit. This principle is fundamental in most insurance contracts, including homeowners insurance. While it is incorrect, insurance is not designed to allow profit. It is a risk transfer mechanism to mitigate financial loss. Why C is incorrect. The insurance company does not always replace property regardless of value. This depends on the terms of the policy. E. G. Actual cash value versus replacement cost. Why D is incorrect. Full replacement cost coverage is subject to the policy conditions, and not all policies guarantee full replacement, especially if the policyholder opts for an actual cash value SEV policy. This principle aligns with standard insurance practices and is enforced by the Nebraska Department of Insurance. Question 2. Scenario-based question: homeowners policy conditions. Mr. Thompson's home was partially damaged in a windstorm. He promptly reported the claim to his homeowner's insurance company. After filing the claim, he failed to provide the necessary documentation requested by the insurer for several months. When the insurance company finally received the documentation, they denied his claim, stating he violated policy conditions. Mr. Thompson disputes this, claiming the insurer acted in bad faith. Under Nebraska homeowners insurance regulations, was the insurer within their rights to deny Mr. Thompson's claim based on his failure to provide timely documentation? A. Yes, because the insured is required to cooperate fully and promptly with the insurer's investigation. B. No, because the insurer is required to settle all claims, regardless of the insured's cooperation. C. Yes, but only if the delay in providing documentation caused financial harm to the insurer. D. No, because Nebraska law prohibits denial of claims based on technical violations of policy conditions. Answer: A. Yes, because the insured is required to cooperate fully and promptly with the insurer's investigation. Explanation: under Nebraska insurance laws and standard homeowners policy conditions, the insured has an obligation to cooperate with the insurer's investigation. This includes providing requested documentation in a timely manner. Failure to comply can lead to denial of the claim, as insurers have the right to investigate and make settlement decisions based on the information provided by the insured. Delays that hinder the investigation process can be seen as a breach of policy conditions. Why B is incorrect. Insurers are not obligated to settle claims if the policyholder fails to fulfill their duties under the contract, such as cooperating with the claims investigation. Why C is incorrect. Insurers do not need to prove financial harm to deny a claim if failure to provide documentation is itself a valid reason. Why D is incorrect. While consumer protections exist, they do not excuse the insured from fulfilling their obligations under the policy. Nebraska's Unfair Claims Settlement Practices Act protects consumers from bad faith, but this only applies when the insurer fails to meet its own obligations, not when the insured is at fault. Question 3. Nebraska-specific homeowners insurance regulations. Which of the following perils is not typically covered under a standard Nebraska homeowners insurance policy without additional endorsement? A. Fire. B. Hail. C. Flood. D. Theft. Answer: C. Flood. Explanation: flood is not typically covered under standard homeowners insurance policies, including those issued in Nebraska. Coverage for flood damage must be purchased as a separate policy, either through the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, or private insurers. Fire, hail, and theft, on the other hand, are usually covered perils under standard homeowners policies, such as HO3. Winoka is incorrect. Fire is a covered peril under nearly all homeowners insurance policies. Why B is incorrect. Hail is a common peril in Nebraska and is typically covered. Why D is incorrect. Theft is included in the coverage for personal property under standard policies. Given Nebraska's weather patterns, additional endorsements or policies are often recommended to cover flood and other severe weather risks not included in standard insurance. Question 4. General insurance concepts. Risk management. Which of the following is an example of risk retention in homeowners insurance? A. Purchasing the highest available coverage limits to avoid out-of-pocket expenses. B. Opting for a higher deductible to lower the insurance premium. C. Purchasing a separate policy for flood insurance. D. Adding an umbrella liability policy to expand coverage. Answer: B. Opting for a higher deductible to lower the insurance premium. Explanation: Risk retention refers to the conscious decision to assume part of the financial responsibility for a loss. In homeowners insurance, this often manifests as choosing a higher deductible. By doing so, the insured retains a portion of the risk, the deductible amount, and reduces their premium costs. While it is incorrect, purchasing higher coverage limits transfers more risk to the insurer, which is risk transfer, not retention. While C is incorrect, buying a separate flood insurance policy is a form of risk transfer, not retention. Why D is incorrect, adding umbrella coverage expands liability protection and transfers risk to the insurer, not retaining it. Risk retention is one of the key techniques in risk management, alongside risk transfer, avoidance, and reduction. Question 5. Homeowners insurance basics. Coverage C. Personal property. Under Nebraska homeowners insurance policies, which of the following types of personal property is typically subject to a special limit on coverage? A. Furniture. B. Jewelry. C. Clothing. D. Electronics. Answer: B. Jewelry. Explanation: In a standard Nebraska homeowners insurance policy, personal property like jewelry is often subject to a special limit of liability. This means that while personal property is generally covered, high-value items like jewelry have low limits unless a specific endorsement is purchased. For example, there might be a $1,500 limit for theft of jewelry unless additional coverage is added. Wybook is incorrect. Furniture is generally covered under the personal property section without special limits. YC is incorrect. Clothing is typically covered up to the policy's personal property limit without special restrictions. YD is incorrect. Electronics might be subject to some limits, but these are not usually as restrictive as the limits for items like jewelry, art, or collectibles. This special limit encourages policyholders to schedule valuable personal property items separately if higher coverage is needed. Question 6. Nebraska insurance laws and regulations. Licensing requirements. In Nebraska, which of the following is not a requirement for obtaining an insurance producer's license? A. Passing the required examination. B. Submitting fingerprints for a background check. C. Completing pre-licensing education courses. D. Obtaining sponsorship from an insurance company. Answer: D. Obtaining sponsorship from an insurance company. Explanation: In Nebraska, an individual seeking an insurance producer license must pass the required exam, complete pre-licensing education, and submit fingerprints for a background check. However, obtaining sponsorship from an insurance company is not a requirement for licensing. YG is incorrect. Passing the licensing exam is a mandatory step. YB is incorrect. Fingerprints are required as part of the background check process. YC is incorrect. Pre-licensing education is a crucial part of preparing for the licensing exam. The Nebraska Department of Insurance ensures these licensing requirements are met to maintain professional standards in the insurance industry. Question 7. Scenario-based question. Claims handling in Nebraska. MS. Carter's home in Nebraska was damaged by a severe hailstorm. She promptly filed a claim with her homeowner's insurance company and began repairs to prevent further damage. However, the insurer is taking longer than expected to process her claim, and MS. Carter is concerned about potential violations of Nebraska claims handling laws. Which of the following actions would not be considered a violation of Nebraska's Unfair Claims Settlement Practices Act by MS? Carter's insurance company. A. Failing to acknowledge receipt of her claim within 15 days. B. Delaying claim settlement without a valid reason. C. Failing to provide a written explanation for denying part of the claim. D. Requiring additional documentation to support the claim after the initial submission. Answer: D. Requiring additional documentation to support the claim after the initial submission. Explanation: It is standard practice for insurance companies to request additional documentation to verify claims, particularly if the initial submission is incomplete or unclear. This does not constitute a violation of the Unfair Claims Settlement Practices Act. YWCA is incorrect. Failing to acknowledge receipt of a claim within a reasonable time frame, typically within 15 days, is a violation. YB is incorrect. Delaying settlement without a valid reason is considered an unfair claims practice. YC is incorrect. Insurers are required to provide a clear, written explanation for denying any part of a claim. The Nebraska Unfair Claims Settlement Practices Act establishes rules to ensure claims are handled promptly and fairly, protecting policyholders from unnecessary delays or unjustified denials. Question 8. Homeowners Insurance Basics. Loss of use coverage D. Under a Nebraska homeowners insurance policy, which of the following is not typically covered under loss of use coverage? D. A. Hotel expenses for temporary lodging. B. Lost rental income from a tenant. C. Normal living expenses such as groceries during repairs. D. Additional costs for commuting further to work during repairs. Answer: C. Normal living expenses such as groceries during repairs. Explanation: loss of use coverage D covers additional living expenses incurred as a result of the insured being unable to live in their home due to a covered peril. This can include hotel expenses, additional commuting costs, or lost rental income. However, normal living expenses like groceries are not considered additional costs and are not covered. 1 is incorrect. Hotel expenses are part of the additional living expenses covered under loss of use. Why B is incorrect. Loss of rental income from a tenant is typically covered if the home was uninhabitable due to a covered loss. Why D is incorrect. Additional commuting costs are generally covered as they represent an increase in living expenses directly due to the loss. This coverage helps insured individuals maintain their standard of living after a covered loss temporarily displaces them from their home. Question 9. Property coverages. Basic, broad, and special form perils. Which of the following perils is only covered under special form HO3 policy and not under basic HO1 or broad form HO2 policy in Nebraska? A. Fire. B. Windstorm. C. Vandalism. D. Theft of personal property from the premises. Answer: D. Theft of personal property from the premises. Explanation: special form HO3 policies offer open perils coverage, meaning they cover all perils unless specifically excluded. In contrast, basic form HO1 and broad form HO2 policies are named perils policies, covering only perils specifically listed in the policy. Theft of personal property is typically only included in the special form unless added via endorsement. Wywick is incorrect. Fire is covered under all three policy forms, HO1, HO2, and HO3. YB is incorrect. Windstorm damage is also a covered peril under all three policy forms. YC is incorrect. Vandalism is covered under both broad and special form policies. Understanding the differences between policy forms helps the insured choose the right coverage for their property. Question 10. Homeowners policy conditions. Duties of the insured. Which of the following is not a duty of the insured following a loss under a Nebraska homeowners insurance policy? A. Reporting the loss promptly to the insurer. B. Taking reasonable steps to protect the property from further damage. C. Authorizing the insurer to negotiate directly with the mortgage lender. D. Providing proof of loss to the insurer. Answer: C. Authorizing the insurer to negotiate directly with the mortgage lender. Explanation: the insured is responsible for reporting the loss, taking steps to prevent further damage, and providing proof of loss to the insurer. However, the insured is not required to authorize the insurer to negotiate directly with the mortgage lender. This is typically handled through the policy's mortgage clause, which outlines the rights and responsibilities of both the insurer and the mortgage lender. YMOC is incorrect. Prompt reporting of the loss is a standard duty. YB is incorrect. The insured must take reasonable steps to prevent further damage to the property. YD is incorrect. Proof of loss is a key requirement for the claim process. Understanding these duties ensures that policyholders fulfill their obligations to prevent denial of claims. Question 11. Homeowners insurance. Section I, liability. Under a Nebraska homeowners insurance policy, which of the following situations would not be covered under Section II? Liability. A. The insured's dog bites a neighbor wild in the insured's yard. B. A visitor slips and falls on the insured's icy driveway. C. The insured causes damage to a neighbor's property while trimming their trees. D. The insured's business inventory is damaged by a customer while visiting the insured's home. Answer: D. The insured's business inventory is damaged by a customer while visiting the insured's home. Explanation: Section II. Liability of a homeowner's policy covers bodily injury and property damage to third parties due to the insured's negligence. However, it excludes business-related claims, including damage to business inventory or liability arising from business operations conducted at home unless specific business coverage or endorsements are added. Y. Mook is incorrect. The homeowner's liability coverage typically extends to personal liability for pet-related injuries. YB is incorrect. Slips and falls on the insured's property would generally be covered. YC is incorrect. Damage to a neighbor's property caused by the insured's negligence is usually covered. YD is correct. Business inventory damage is not covered under standard homeowners policies without additional business-related endorsements. This distinction is essential for individuals who work from home or run home-based businesses. Question 12. Personal auto policy. Nebraska state minimum liability limits. In Nebraska, what are the state-required minimum liability limits for bodily injury and property damage under a personal auto policy? A, $25,000, $50,000, $25,000. B, $15,000, $30,000, $15,000. C, $50,000, $100,000, $50,000. D, $20,000, $40,000, and $1,000. Answer A, $25,000, $50,000, $25,000. Explanation: Nebraska state law requires all drivers to carry minimum auto liability coverage. The required minimum limits are $25,000 per person for bodily injury, $50,000 per accident for bodily injury, and $25,000 per accident for property damage, are often referred to as 25-50-25 coverage. These limits ensure basic financial protection in the event of an at-fault accident. Why? B, C, and D are incorrect. These amounts either exceed or fall short of the state-mandated minimum liability requirements in Nebraska. Drivers may choose to purchase higher limits to increase protection, but these are the minimums required by law. Question 13. Personal auto policy. Uninsured motorist coverage. Which of the following scenarios would likely trigger uninsured motorist coverage under a Nebraska auto policy? A. A hit-and-run driver causes damage to the insured's car. B. The insured's car is vandalized while parked. C. The insured is involved in an accident with an underinsured driver. D. The insured's car is damaged by hail during a storm. Answer A. A hit-and-run driver causes damage to the insured's car. Explanation: uninsured motorist coverage provides protection when the insured is injured in an accident caused by a driver who either has no insurance or cannot be identified, such as in a hit-and-run situation. This coverage pays for medical expenses, lost wages, and other damages resulting from the accident. Why B is incorrect. Vandalism would be covered under comprehensive coverage, not uninsured motorist coverage. Why C is incorrect. An underinsured motorist would trigger underinsured motorist coverage, UM, not UM. Why D is incorrect. Hail damage is covered under comprehensive coverage, not uninsured motorist coverage. This coverage is essential for protecting against the financial impact of accidents involving uninsured or hit-and-run drivers. Question 14. Commercial General Liability CGL. Types of hazards. Which of the following is an example of a completed operations hazard under Commercial General Liability CGL policy? A. A customer slips on a wet floor in a store. B. A construction contractor's faulty installation of a roof causes damage after the job is finished. C. A defective product causes injury to a customer. D. A fire damages property during the insured's business operations. Answer B. A construction contractor's faulty installation of a roof causes damage after the job is finished. Explanation: a completed operations hazard refers to liability for damages that occur after a contractor has completed their work. In this case, a contractor's faulty roof installation causes damage, and the damage occurs after the project has been completed. Completed operations coverage under a CGL policy would protect against such claims. Why is incorrect. A customer slipping on a wet floor is an example of a premises liability hazard. Why C is incorrect. A defective product causing injury would be considered a product liability hazard. Why D is incorrect. Fire damage occurring during the course of operations is a premises hazard rather than a completed operations hazard. Completed operations coverage is important for businesses that provide services, ensuring they are protected even after they finish a job. Question 15. Workers' compensation insurance. Coverage. In Nebraska, workers' compensation insurance provides coverage for which of the following? A. Medical expenses and lost wages for an employee injured on the job. B. Property damage caused by an employee during business operations. C. Liability claims filed by customers injured on business premises. D. Legal defense costs related to discrimination claims by employees. Answer A. Medical expenses and lost wages for an employee injured on the job. Explanation: workers' compensation insurance in Nebraska provides coverage for medical expenses and lost wages for employees who are injured or become ill as a result of their job. It also covers rehabilitation costs and death benefits if applicable. Why B is incorrect. Workers' compensation does not cover property damage. Why C is incorrect. Injuries to customers would be covered under a general liability policy, not workers' compensation. Why D is incorrect. Legal defense costs for discrimination claims would be covered under employment practices liability insurance, simply not workers' compensation. This coverage is mandatory in most states, including Nebraska, to ensure injured workers are compensated. Question 16. Commercial property insurance. Coinsurance. Which of the following best describes the purpose of a coinsurance clause in a commercial property insurance policy? A. To provide additional coverage for high-value items. B. To penalize policyholders for not insuring their property to its full value. C. To reduce the premium for policyholders with low-risk properties. D. To limit the amount of coverage available for certain types of claims. Answer: B. To penalize policyholders for not insuring their property to its full value. Explanation: the coinsurance clause in a commercial property insurance policy requires the policyholder to insure their property to a certain percentage of its full value, typically 80%, 90%, or 100%. If the policyholder fails to meet the coinsurance requirement and suffers a loss, the insurer may reduce the amount paid on the claim in proportion to the underinsurance. Wymock is incorrect. Coinsurance does not provide additional coverage but ensures the property is adequately insured. YC is incorrect. Coinsurance is not about reducing premiums, it's about ensuring full value coverage. YD is incorrect. Coinsurance does not limit coverage for specific claims but impacts the payout for underinsured property. Policyholders should be aware of the coinsurance requirement to avoid a penalty in the event of a loss. Question 17. Inland marine insurance. Definition and application. Inland marine insurance is primarily used to cover which of the following: A. Property located on the insured's business premises. B. Boats and personal watercraft used for commercial purposes. C. Property in transit or mobile equipment. D. Damage to property caused by fire or vandalism. Answer: C. Property in transit or mobile equipment. Explanation: inland marine insurance provides coverage for property that is in transit, movable, or involved in transportation and communication. This can include tools, equipment, goods being transported, or fine art that is mobile. It differs from standard property insurance, which typically covers fixed locations. Why is incorrect. Property at a fixed location would be covered by commercial property insurance. Why B is incorrect. Boats and watercraft are covered by ocean marine insurance, not inland marine. Why D is incorrect. Fire and vandalism are covered by standard property insurance, not inland marine. Inland marine insurance is important for businesses that transport goods or have property that moves between locations. Question 18. Farm insurance. Coverage types. Which of the following is typically not covered under a Nebraska farm insurance policy? A. Farm equipment. B. Farm structures, such as barns. C. Personal liability for injuries occurring on the farm. D. Losses caused by livestock disease. Answer: D. Losses caused by livestock disease. Explanation: farm insurance policies generally provide coverage for various aspects of farm operations, including farm equipment. Option A. Coverage is usually provided for the equipment used in farming operations, such as tractors and combines. Farm structures. Option B. Structures such as barns, silos, and other buildings on the farm are typically covered under these policies. Personal liability. Option C. Policies often include personal liability coverage for injuries that occur on the farm, protecting against claims from accidents involving visitors or others on the property. However, losses caused by livestock disease, option D, are often excluded from standard farm insurance policies. This is because diseases affecting livestock can have complex implications and may require specialized coverage or endorsements. To cover such risks, farmers may need to purchase additional policies or endorsements specifically designed for livestock disease. In Nebraska, like in many other states, farm policies might offer optional endorsements or separate livestock insurance products to address specific risks such as disease, but this coverage is not typically included in standard farm policies. This differentiation helps manage the risk associated with livestock and ensures that specific coverage needs are met. Question 19. Homeowners insurance. Policy exclusions. Which of the following is not typically excluded from a standard Nebraska homeowners insurance policy? A. Damage caused by earthquake. B. Losses due to nuclear hazard. C. Damage from accidental discharge of water from plumbing. D. Damage from civil commotion or riot. Answer: C. Damage from accidental discharge of water from plumbing. Explanation: standard homeowners insurance policies often include exclusions for certain types of damage. Earthquake damage, option A. This is usually excluded and coverage needs to be purchased separately. Nuclear hazard, option B. Damage resulting from nuclear events is typically excluded. Accidental discharge of water from plumbing, option C. This is generally covered under a standard homeowners policy, though certain limits and conditions may apply. It is a common source of covered losses. Civil commotion or riot, option D. Damage from civil commotion or riot is typically covered. Understanding these exclusions helps homeowners assess whether they need additional coverage for specific risks. Question 20. Personal property coverage. Special limits. Which of the following items is likely to have a special limit for coverage under a standard Nebraska homeowners policy? A. Jewelry. B. Personal computers. C. Furniture. D. Household appliances. Answer: A. Jewelry. Explanation: standard homeowners policies often have special limits on certain types of personal property. Jewelry, option A. Jewelry typically has a lower coverage limit compared to other personal property. To fully cover high-value jewelry, a policy endorsement may be necessary. Personal computers, option B. These are generally covered under standard personal property limits. Furniture, option C. Coverage for furniture is usually included under the general personal property coverage. Household appliances, option D. These are also typically covered under standard limits. Special limits are designed to manage the risk associated with high-value items that might require additional protection. Question 21, coverage C. Personal property. In a Nebraska homeowners insurance policy, coverage C generally provides protection for which type of property? A. The dwelling itself. B. Personal property of the insured. C. Liability for injuries to others. D. Loss of use of the home. Answer: B. Personal property of the insured. Explanation: coverage C in a homeowner's insurance policy protects personal property belonging to the insured. This includes items such as clothing, furniture, and electronics. Other coverage types include dwelling coverage, option A. Covered under coverage A. Liability for injuries, option C. Covered under coverage E. Loss of use, option D. Covered under coverage D. Understanding the coverage limits and what is included helps in managing personal property risks effectively. Question 22. Homeowners insurance. Replacement cost versus the actual cash value. Which of the following statements is true regarding replacement cost and actual cash value in homeowners insurance? A. Replacement cost covers the cost to replace the item with a new one without deduction for depreciation. B. The actual cash value provides coverage equal to the original purchase price of the item. C. Replacement cost coverage generally costs less than actual cash value coverage. D. Actual cash value includes the cost of upgrading to a better model. Answer: A. Replacement cost covers the cost to replace the item with a new one without deduction for depreciation. Explanation: replacement cost coverage provides funds to replace damaged or lost items with new ones of similar kind and quality without deducting for depreciation. In contrast, actual cash value, option B, includes depreciation, resulting in a payout based on the item's current value, not the original purchase price. Replacement cost versus ACV, option C. Replacement cost coverage typically costs more due to its broader protection. ACV and upgrading, option D. Actual cash value does not cover upgrades, only replacement value minus depreciation. Choosing between replacement cost and actual cash value depends on the desired level of protection and associated costs. Question 23. Homeowners insurance. Endorsements. Which of the following endorsements would not typically be included in a standard homeowners insurance policy without an additional premium? A. Personal property replacement cost. B. Water backup and sump pump failure. C. Scheduled personal property. D. Ordinance or law coverage. Answer: D. Ordinance or law coverage. Explanation: ordinance or law coverage is often an additional endorsement and is not automatically included in standard homeowners policies. It provides coverage for increased costs due to building code upgrades. Other endorsements include personal property replacement cost, option A, usually available as an optional endorsement. Water backup and sump pump failure, option B, typically an optional endorsement for additional protection. Scheduled personal property, option C, allows for higher coverage limits on specific items. Understanding the available endorsements helps in customizing coverage to meet specific needs. Question 24. Homeowners insurance. Underwriting factors. Which of the following is not typically considered in the underwriting process for a Nebraska homeowner's insurance policy? A. Location of the property. B. Age of the property. C. Credit history of the insured. D. Previous medical history of the insured. Answer: D. Previous medical history of the insured. Explanation: underwriting for homeowners insurance generally involves evaluating factors such as location of the property, option A, affects risk due to local hazards and property values, age of the property, option B, impacts potential risks related to aging infrastructure, credit history, option C, used to assess risk and potential for future claims, previous medical history, option D, is not typically relevant to homeowners insurance underwriting as it is more pertinent to health or life insurance. Question 25. Claims handling. Nebraska regulations. Which of the following statements about claims handling in Nebraska is false? A. Insurers are required to acknowledge receipt of a claim within 15 days. B. Insurers must provide a claim decision within 30 days of receiving all necessary information. C. Insurers are allowed to delay claims decisions indefinitely if the insured is under investigation. D. Insurers must provide a written explanation for any claim denial. Answer: C. Insurers are allowed to delay claims decisions indefinitely if the insured is under investigation. Explanation: Nebraska insurance regulations mandate that acknowledgement of claims, option A, must be within 15 days. Claim decision, option B, should be made within 30 days of receiving all required information. Explanation for denial, option D. Insurers must provide a written explanation. Indefinite delays, option C, are not allowed. Insurers must adhere to specific timelines and regulations to ensure fair and timely claims processing. Adhering to these regulations helps protect consumers and ensures efficient claims resolution. Question 26. Nebraska insurance fraud regulations. Which of the following activities is not considered insurance fraud under Nebraska regulations? A. Providing false information on an insurance application. B. Submitting a claim for damage that was already covered by another insurer. C. Failing to disclose a pre-existing condition on a health insurance policy. D. Accidentally misreporting the value of personal property on a claim. Answer: D. Accidentally misreporting the value of personal property on a claim. Explanation: insurance fraud includes false information, option A, providing incorrect information to obtain coverage or benefits. Double claims, option B, claiming for damage covered by another insurer. Concealment, option C, hiding pre-existing conditions can be considered fraudulent. Accidental misreporting, option D, generally not considered fraud unless it involves intent to deceive. Understanding what constitutes fraud helps prevent legal issues and maintains the integrity of the insurance process. Question 27. Endorsements and optional coverages. Which of the following is typically covered under an endorsement rather than a standard homeowner's policy? A. Personal property replacement cost. B. Damage from a tornado. C. Theft of personal property. D. Liability for dog bites. Answer A. Personal property replacement cost. Explanation: optional endorsements provide additional coverage beyond the standard policy. Personal property replacement cost, option A, often available as an endorsement. Damage from a tornado, option B, generally covered under standard policies. Theft of personal property, option C, usually included in standard policies. Liability for dog bites, option D, typically included in standard liability coverage. Choosing appropriate endorsements helps tailor coverage to specific needs. Question 28. Legal concepts. Representation versus misrepresentation. Which of the following statements best describes the difference between representation and misrepresentation in insurance contracts? A. Representation is a statement that is intentionally false, while misrepresentation is an unintentional falsehood. B. Representation is a statement made by the insurer, while misrepresentation is made by the insured. C. Representation is a true statement relevant to the policy, while misrepresentation is an untrue statement that affects the insurer's decision. D. Representation is any statement made by the insured, while misrepresentation is a statement that leads to a denial of coverage. Answer: C. Representation is a true statement relevant to the policy, while misrepresentation is an untrue statement that affects the insurer's decision. Explanation: in insurance contracts, Representation, option C, refers to a statement made by the applicant or insured that is believed to be true and relevant to the policy. It is meant to provide the insurer with accurate information upon which they can base their underwriting decision. Representations are generally considered true if they are made in good faith. Misrepresentation, option C, involves an untrue statement or omission that significantly impacts the insurer's decision to provide coverage or set terms. Misrepresentation can be either intentional, fraudulent, or unintentional, but it always affects the validity of the contract. If an insurer can prove that misrepresentation was material to the risk or the underwriting decision, it may void the policy or lead to denial of claims. Understanding these concepts helps both insurers and insureds in accurately communicating and upholding the terms of the insurance contract. Question 29. Nebraska Department of Insurance. Which of the following is not a duty of the Nebraska Department of Insurance? A. Enforcing state insurance laws and regulations. B. Licensing insurance agents and brokers. C. Providing financial advice to insurance policyholders. D. Investigating complaints against insurance companies. Answer: C. Providing financial advice to insurance policyholders. Explanation: the Nebraska Department of Insurance is responsible for several regulatory functions: enforcing state insurance laws and regulations, option A, ensuring compliance with Nebraska's insurance laws; licensing insurance agents and brokers, option B, overseeing the licensing process to ensure that agents and brokers meet the necessary qualifications; investigating complaints against insurance companies, option D, addressing and resolving issues raised by consumers about insurance companies; providing financial advice, option C, is not a role of the department. This falls outside their regulatory functions and is generally the responsibility of financial advisors or insurance agents. Understanding the department's roles helps in navigating insurance regulatory processes and knowing where to seek assistance. Question 30. Claims handling. Unfair claims settlement practices. Which of the following practices would be considered an unfair claims settlement practice under Nebraska regulations? A. Offering a settlement amount that is less than the claimed amount without a valid reason. B. Providing a detailed explanation for the claim denial. C. Acknowledging receipt of a claim within the required time frame. D. Settling claims in accordance with policy terms and conditions. Answer A. Offering a settlement amount that is less than the claimed amount without a valid reason. Explanation: Nebraska regulations prohibit several unfair claims settlement practices, including offering a settlement amount that is less than the claimed amount without a valid reason, option A. This is considered unfair if not substantiated by policy terms or justified reasons. Providing explanations for denial, option B. Acknowledging claims promptly, option C. And settling claims according to policy terms, option D, are all practices in line with fair claims handling. Understanding these practices helps ensure fair treatment during the claims process and informs consumers of their rights.